live. Hi guys, welcome to this Sit in Your Power. Okay, Brittany's back from Quebec. I'm still here in Bordeaux. So we're a little bit late because we've been having kind of natter. But anyway, we're here now. That's the main thing. So thanks for joining. And today we're going to do money producing activities. That's number 2 from the 5 things leaders do. So over to you, Brittany.
Okay, so see the screen's not switching. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Well, you can see you can see me.
Okay, so now I'm just gonna be a little bit honest. I was like nervous this morning to come on and do this call because I missed last week's call. I was on a flight, and I felt like when I was preparing for this call, I felt disconnected. So anyway, Kat and I met early before time, and we had a catch up, which was really, really nice. So it was invigorating. You know, I needed that to fill my cup up a little bit. But anyway, I'm here, and I missed everybody, and I'm excited. Number 2 of the 5 things that leaders do, or I like to just call them daily habits that have the power to really change your life if you commit to them. No matter how much time that you have to commit to them, you actually just commit to them. So number 2 is money producing or income producing activity. And so this should be, we are taught, and it's 80% of your time should be in action. So income producing activity equals action. So whatever that action looks like, it's not activity that's going to produce income or money immediately. Or, you know, I used to get it confused with, well, what am I doing right now for income producing? 80% of my allotted work time should be income producing activity. What does that activity look like? So for me, because I'm building an online business and I'm learning the entrepreneurial, like the online entrepreneurial, digital entrepreneur mindset, for me, that is creating content, figuring out the person that I'm talking to, so my niche, and so creating content, connecting with my list, adding value to lives of the people who follow me, subscribe to me, stuff like that. That's income producing activity, even though it's not producing income right away, immediately. That's activity that produces income, building relationships. And it's not to be confused with learning. So if I'm learning a skill that will produce income, like marketing, like if I'm on a Facebook Facebook ads training course or online, so I'm doing that training course, that's not income producing that activity. That's you're growing, that's personal development or whatever you want to lot that into. Once you put what you learn into action, so after I get off that training, I go on, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm placing an ad, so I'm going to do an ad. And this is where fear sets in. A lot of fear sets in. It's easy to sit comfortable in the bubble of teaching the mind, or, you know, learning something, being on a training webinar, connecting with people, masterminding with people. This stuff is quite easy compared to income producing activity, because income producing activity is action taking. And action taking is usually where we face the biggest fears, because it requires us to step out of our comfort zone and take action in areas that we don't even feel prepared for. And the key is to take action before you feel prepared, because it's a false reality thinking that we will feel ready one day. We're never going to feel ready to take the action that's required. So I think one of the major points of income producing activity is taking the action, whether you feel ready or not. So if that's placing a Facebook ad or going through and creating a Facebook ad, if that means shooting a video, if that means writing a blog and syndicating it, so spreading it all over your social media network, or sending it to your list of subscribers, or sharing it with the people who follow you on whatever platform. Those are the things that are scary, because you're being vulnerable and you're putting yourself out there. But that's income producing activity, because you're building relationships. And when it comes to like an online business, or any business, relationship is where it's at. People need to trust you, especially in today's world. You need to add value before you ask for anything back. So I don't know if you have anything to add, Kat.
Yeah, I wanted to interject always with enough. I can really hear some echo. I don't know. Maybe I'll just lower my.
I'll mute myself while you speak.
Thank you. Yes, some, you know, you will always get, like Brittany was saying, when you syndicate yourself out there, it is relationship building. Now, there's always one person who will nitpick. There's always going to be the naysayers, etc. Don't let that stop you. I mean, you know, and also one thing I didn't know, and I thought I'd written a really good blog post in the beginning. I was getting, you know, literally in the thousands of replies, and I thought, wow. In fact, they're these people that just, you know, send you their, what's it called, spam emails, you know. They have robots doing this. I mean, Google clamped down on this a lot. But in the beginning, they, you know, this brand new system. So I've written this blog post and I got, you know, quite a lot of replies. And I personally take time to reply to people who post comments in, you know, in as far as I can. And I had hundreds and hundreds, and I just couldn't reply. And it was, I found it really, that just got me into a kind of a panic, really, also, because I was desperately trying to keep up with all these people. So I was answering all these robots, which was, you know, really interesting and very nice to do. So don't, they clamp that down now, so don't worry about that. You won't get that many replies, hopefully, unless your blog post does go viral, and it does happen. So, you know, you never know what, you know, post is either a written article or a, you know, video or an iZine article that you've sent off to iZine, you know. Again, I had tons of articles that iZine accepted, and then the odd one or two that wasn't accepted for, you know, I don't know what reason. I would get it back, try and rewrite it, try and maybe see the grammar or something I'd said or something I'd done. You know, and I just could not get it. It was going backwards and forwards. So this takes time, but it's quite frustrating because I don't know. And, you know, there's a lot of rules to read. They'll send you to read their guidelines, you know, blah, blah, blah. So it's all time consuming, but it's just a learning process. Don't sort of say, oh, it doesn't matter. So, well, this particular article in the end, I just shoved on my blog because I couldn't get it on iZine. But it was a fun process to you know, to learn. And I have, well, that's when you're syndicating, you know, you're getting it out to all these, there are free articles, also free article sites that you can just pop them on, and all, you know, a whole load of stuff that you can do. It does take a lot of time to get your article out on, you know, 50 sites. You have to create an account, do all this, or you can buy the little widget and, you know, spend $100 and it'll do it all for you. So sometimes it's a little wiser to save a little bit of advertising budget and buy this widget or whatever it is to, you know, spread it out into these hundreds of websites as they create the account and it does it all for you. Otherwise, it's quite time consuming to do all this. I'd completely forgotten all this, and it just all came back to me when you know, I'm sitting there going, being, you know, washed over all these accounts that you have to create. So I had this little book with all these, you know, names, emails, and what is it, passwords, you know, and in the end I just said, oh no, I'll just have the one password for everything because it was a lot more simpler. It doesn't say, well, it was a lot simpler. But that's still income producing activities, you know, syndicating is income producing activities. So sometimes it's best to invest in a little widget that'll do it for you rather than, you know, spend the time, because, you know, you can only send it out to so many. But Brittany was also very right in saying, you know, your Facebook ad will never be, you know, until you've done so many that you know exactly how to analyze the data, you know, exactly what are your KPIs, you know, your audience that, you know, gives you the best ROI, you know, all this sort of action. That's a little bit way down the road. So, you know, even people who do come in and have an advertising budget initially, you know, a certain sizable advertising budget, they're still learning. Don't imagine that because, you know, you've got a good advertising budget of a certain size that you can come in, place a Facebook ad, and you know, no, it's still a learning process because, you know, even Stuart said the other day on a Black call, he said that, you know, he needs to do at least 6 ads before he'll find one that just goes, rocks it out the park. So, you know, if someone like Stuart still needs 6 ads, I mean, you can imagine how many we would need. 6. But That's, you know, it just is, it is a learning process. But as Stuart also says, you know, when you find that ad that does that vein of gold, you know, it's like mining. When you find that vein of gold, you can run it, you know, for a couple of years even sometimes. So, you know, it doesn't really matter about the time you take, and always you never fail in business until you leave your business. So, you know, you're always learning, and this is something that, you know, you do take time to get in it, but as long as you're producing these activities, so your Facebook ad just got clicks and no conversions. Oh, work on that then. How from the click do I convert? You know, then once you've got the conversions from apps to members, etc., you're always sort of learning, right? But then your new ad, I mean, I remember one ad I thought was just brilliant, and it got nothing. I mean, just absolute rubbish. And another ad I just put out there to get myself known. So it was an ugly ad. I didn't really want people to click on it. I just wanted them to see my face. I got zillions of clicks and conversions. I mean, I couldn't understand it. So, you know, sometimes you'll have a hard time analyzing your own data, as it were. So never be afraid of that. And lucky for us, we have a really good community, and we're now doing a bit more masterminding within the community. But so you can always ask questions. You know, I definitely go to, you know, the community site and say, look, what is going on with these stats? I really don't get it. You know, and or, you know, I changed this word, I'm tweaking this ad, I don't know what's wrong with it, and people can just, you know, help you along the way. So income producing activities can initially, as Brittany was saying, you are in fear, you're in great fear of doing something wrong, because, you know, oh, it's money I'm spending, oh, you know, it's time I'm spending. But at the end of the day, it's your business you're building, right? So let's just keep that in mind. And even if you can just invest a small amount, and really lucky, because in the old days, I think you can do $1 a day on Facebook now. Before, you know, we didn't have that chance. So $1 a day is okay. You can say 7 days, or, you know, set a little budget aside, even $10 a month or something. That's something that, you know, you could possibly do. So don't imagine that, you know, because you have no money at all, you can't be doing something. You can just place one Facebook ad for $10, and, you know, I mean, then you see with your you know, people in the group that you're masterminded with, which is the best way to do it right now. Maybe it's, you know, all at once or every day. You know, that just depends on what the algorithm is at the moment. And Facebook and Google do sort of swap and change with the time. So you'll see when you're, you know, with the groups who are in the trenches. The mentors are always in the trenches, so they'll be able to tell you, you know, and obviously the mentors have a bigger budget than we do. So that's all I have to say. Yes, unmute yourself, darling. We can't hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I was muted, and I'm like, okay, hold on a second. It's so simple. Okay, so anyway, yes, brilliant. What did you say? You said something that I wanted to feed off of.
I don't know, tweaking, I think you.
I can't remember now. All brilliant though. Like the thing is there, it's a really long process. So what I like, it's not a long process, it's an ongoing process. So even though when you're always going to be learning, and I think the main thing is to not confuse income producing activity and training. Like,
yeah,
when you are taking action, you're learning as you go through action, right? But if you're sitting on a training webinar but not actually doing what you're learning, that's training. There's a difference. You're still learning when you're taking action, but you're learning through action, and that's the only way to actually learn and really implement, is if you implement, sorry. So there's a few things that I would mention. I just so one is distractions. Okay, the most, for myself, I find that I'm the most productive if I know what I'm going to be doing the day before for income producing, because we face fears when it comes time to actually take action. Like, I have to shoot that video, I have to post that ad. And I remember when the first time on Facebook, when I was advertising on Facebook, the first time I actually like hit like publish my first ad, I was like, my heart was pounding. Like I thought that everybody I knew and everybody in the world was going to see my ad. Like I thought that that ad was now public and everybody that everybody was going to see it. Oh, that's one thing. That's right too. Actually, that I wanted to mention that Kat was saying is the naysayers. This is all perspective. Naysayers are all perspective. If you have people that are giving you shitty comments or leaving their opinion that is hurtful or whatever it might be, you need to look at this as a good thing because it means you're taking action. There's always going to be someone who doesn't jive with your opinion or what you're doing, but your target is the people who need you. Your target is the people who need to wake up to what you understand, who connect with you, who relate to you, who are on the same path as you, who have had the same similar experiences, who are going through the same challenges. Those are the people that you need to actually worry about. I don't know if the camera's switching back and forth. It's not on my screen, so I'm gonna just physically. So these are the people who are waiting for you to step out of your comfort zone and take one step ahead of them and guide and be that leader. So those naysayers, just be thankful for them. Thank you for leaving your opinion. Thank you for your time. Because if they are spending the time to leave a comment, then that's coming from a place of their insecurity or their jealousy or whatever it might be. Just thank them for their time, because if they're leaving a comment, they're giving you their time. And whether it's agreeing, disagreeing, it doesn't matter. It means you're doing something right. And that is taking action. Because if you're not taking action, trust me, you're not going to get any naysayers. So just switch your perspective. If you find yourself in a spot where someone leaves a comment, or even if it's a family member, right? Someone makes you feel doubtful about what you're doing, just change your perspective a little bit and say, you know what, thank you. Because this means this tells me or demonstrates to me that I'm doing something right. Because you're always going to have naysayers if you're taking action. That's my perspective on it. Anyway, so that's one thing. Now I'll go back to knowing what you're going to be doing the day before. Because when you get on your computer or you go out to meet clients or whatever you're doing in your life to work towards your goal, you're going to have distractions. We live in a very, very distracted world, whether it's the news in the lobby of somewhere that you're meeting someone, or if it's Facebook or an ad popping up. Maybe you were looking for shoes and now the shoe ad popped up and oh, hey, yeah, and it reminds you. You're going to be distracted. So know exactly what you have to do so that if you have 30 minutes and 80% of that time is being spent on this income producing activity, you're not spending 15 of those minutes just getting your grounds together and figuring out what you're going to do. Know what you're going to do the day before. As soon as you sit down at your computer, sign out of Facebook, sign out of Instagram, or I guess but sign out of all social media, anything that's going to distract you. Shut down any tabs, internet tabs that you're not using, and focus. Because laser focus for 5 minutes is more powerful than cluttered thoughts and confusion and distractions for an hour. So that is one thing that I would highly recommend, and it's a learning curve. You're going to say, okay, this is what I'm doing. You're going to sit down at your computer. You're going to do all this, get rid of distractions, and you're going to hit a blocker. You're writing a blog post or whatever, and you don't know what to write next or whatever. Fear arises in you posting it, or you start thinking about what people are going to think of you. Fear steps in. Distraction is the easiest way away from that fear. So just stay focused. Remember that distractions are the worst thing, that when you're trying to do income producing activities, don't get distracted. Stay focused on what the task is at hand. Another one I wrote down is watch your time. So another thing is that when we're talking about these 5 habits, and you have an hour a day to spare to work on whatever you're working on for your passion and for your goals, you have an hour to spare outside of your job, outside of raising your kids, outside of all your other life responsibilities. Be diligent in that hour and know exactly how much time you're going to spend on this task and how much time you're going to be spending on your masterminding or your personal development or self-awareness, whatever you call it, or your visualization. keep your time blocked diligently so that you don't spend your whole hour doing one thing and then you don't get your income producing activity done that day, or you don't get your visualization done that day. Because I found for myself is when I don't visualize, do my meditation or whatever it might be that I'm doing, if I don't do it, then the next day it's harder to do it. It's like, it's easy to fall down that slippery slope of not doing the work. It's easy to go down that road, but it's really hard to climb back out and get back on track. So even if you only have 5 minutes to do something, do it for that 5 minutes and then move on to the next thing, because they're all equally important. So yeah, be diligent with your time. I have 20 minutes to write my blog post. You write your blog post for 20 minutes and you move on to the next task at hand that needs to be done. Another thing is,
can I just add, sorry, on that, it's also very good because often as humans generally, when we're under a certain amount of pressure, we cut out automatically all the crap, all the clutter in our zones, and we just focus. And I was talking, my son was saying, he often just finishes his exam really early and he walks out. And I said, no, you are to sit the whole time. And he came out of the mock exams and he said, oh, thanks, Mum, because in the last 5 minutes, you just reread your thing. And out of nowhere comes all this insight, and you just, because he has just that last 5 minutes. So like when you were saying, you just do 20 minutes your blog post. If you've got 20 minutes and you've got the stopwatch or your phone just stopping, whatever, you are going to be laser focused and you're not going to dilly-dally and you're not going to do this and you're not going to do that. You're just going to concentrate. And I noticed that when I do this, I love to have images in my blog posts. I find that an image can convey a feeling, a scent, a visual. I mean, it's just amazing. So I will spend time looking for that image. And sometimes oh my God, it's already 20 minutes. And, so when I really, like Brittany was saying, I try and set myself up and I've only got that amount of time. Bam, that image, I find whatever one it is that drew me to that picture. And I said, that's it, that's enough, that's brilliant. And I put that one in my blog post. Whereas if I'm just, I've got to write my blog post today, I've got all day to do it, then I'll just, waffle. I mean, it won't be as productive as just 20 minutes. So don't think that because you only have, maybe an hour a day, oh my God, I'll never make it. Or, oh, no, of course, in the beginning, it's all, but the more and more you focus and the more and more you do this, the better you will be at the end. You'll beat us all, hands down. So, sorry, I just wanted to say that with that particular point you have.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's exactly. I was actually just listening to the 4-Hour Work Week, and that's one of the points that he says is like when we don't have time, like we can, if we have a project and we have a week to do it and we procrastinate, we're like, you sit down to do it and you just can't think about, so you just can't get into that creative space. You can't come up with what you want to say. You can't figure it out. You're struggling. And you'll do that all week, and then all of a sudden you have 30 minutes or an hour to get this done before it's due. That hour, all of a sudden, you're like super productive and you figure it all out and you can just do it. And that kind of pressure is, Kat, you're absolutely right. That a very good point, because if you don't have a lot of time, it's okay. It's just as beautiful as having a lot of time, because it's only how we use it, right? Someone who has all day could waste that day away and not be productive, even though they're on their computer all day, be on Facebook or go here or go there and not actually get anything done. Whereas someone who only has an hour is diligent and focused because they only have that hour. And it goes the same with money, right? Like someone who doesn't have a lot of money, they're going to watch their ads more closely. They're going to make sure that they're keeping a close eye, and because they don't have a lot of money to squander. Whereas someone who does have a lot of money to throw into an ad, they'll be more complacent, right? They won't, they have the money will do the job. The money will do the job. So I'm not going to look at my ad today, or I'm not going to do this or whatever. So it kind of goes both ways. Pressure does, it does help in a lot of ways, for sure. I totally agree with that. I'm not sure what else to add. If you have questions, post in the video, and we'll definitely love to answer questions. That's the whole idea behind the Hangout. What's that, Kat?
Sorry, I was just saying, make it go viral. We'll handle all the replies. Not a problem.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Share, share, share. We'll handle all the questions.
Yeah.
But that's yeah. The whole idea behind the hangout is so that we can, like, Kat and I are sharing whatever we've learned. We're sharing our knowledge to the best of our ability. We don't know it all. We know what we know, and we're sharing with people who might not know what we know. And that's simply what we're doing, nothing more. So we would love to have discussion, have someone who knows more, knows this side of the spectrum or that side of the spectrum, or has questions, which will lead us down rabbit holes that we're not thinking of right now. So yeah, ask questions, join us on the next hangout, and let's turn it into a discussion. Any insights, any opinions, everything is welcome. That's what makes it juicy and exciting, especially being live. So I think that's all for now.
Yep.
Kat, anything to add?
Great.
So we'll see you all again next week. And the next one will be the next habit of the 5. I will share it when I do the event, and we'll see you all then. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.